Hi. Hi, I'm Christina, and there's a hole in my wall, but mind your business. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of the series that I never made. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Jack of all talks, folktales. That's what I'm gonna call it. If I don't like it, I'll change it next time. I don't really care right now. If you're here for folktales, I'm not gonna waste your time. Okay, my bad. So I actually did waste your time. Like I said I wasn't going to do. But anyway, just go to 205 for the countries of where the stories come from and go to 341 for the actual beginning of our first story. All right, thanks. Late night. I hope you're having a good evening. How's the kids? How's the family? How's the wife? How's the job? Did you study today? Did you crack open that organic chemistry book? Yeah? You said you was going to do that last time. Anyway, let's keep it pushing. So, quick story, let's make it very short. On my TikTok, people have been asking me to bring my folklores that I've said on my TikTok to YouTube. I'm getting there, I promise. But I don't quite yet know how to make them more landscape because they're taking portrait mode on TikTok. And I'm more relaxed. I'm very like chill, breezy on TikTok rather than YouTube. YouTube makes me feel kind of professional. But again, we're making these fast, okay? These are ADHD thoughts. Keep up, keep up, keep up. So anyway, they asked me, hey, Christina, why don't you bring those bad boys from TikTok to YouTube? I got you. The formatting will be a little different, so I don't want to put them in a video like this. I'll make them in a video by themselves, okay? So plenty of folktales from my TikTok are coming up. It's just me, though. So, and I'm still learning, so it's going to take me some time, so be patient and gentle with me, all right? I got you. I got you. So long as you got me, I got you. Dark. Okay. Okay. Anyway, look at me. Don't look at the hole in my wall, okay? This is Roger. We're going to name him Roger. He's our emotional support animal, okay? Anything can be an emotional support animal if you believe it enough. Anyway, I'm super excited to bring you this second episode of Jack of All Talks Folktales because today we're going to Cambodia. And because I love you, because I love you so much, we actually have 4 folktales rather than just 3. So here's what happened. I went to look up Cambodian folktales, right? And I was reading one and it was pretty good. And I was like, hold up, this is a very short folktale, A, and B, everybody kind of knows this folktale because it resembles that of a biblical story. And you'll hear about it when I talk about it. So hold on. So for Cambodia, we're actually going to have 2 stories, a mini one and a bigger one. And I know you're going to be excited about those because they're going to be fun. And then we're going to go to the Pacific and go to Tonga, okay? We know all sorts of MILF and folktales, but do you know your Tongan? But do you know your folktales from Tonga? You don't, because I got one for you today and it's all good. Don't even worry about it. And at last, fun fact, I'm an immigrant and I thought like alas meant at last until my other immigrant friend was like, no, Christina, that's not English. You're using alas wrong. It doesn't mean at last. So at last, finally, in the final place, we have Luxembourg, okay? Quick thing, Luxembourg, for being a community that's really revolving around folktales and folklore, had no way I could get some folktales and folklore. Anyway, the last video was abruptly ended because I wasn't making sense there, so we're just gonna move on with this. Okay, anyways, the Luxembourg folktale, this is a country that's like revolving around folktales and mythology and lore and all that stuff, but it was extremely hard to get the folktales from them, but I managed to get a good folktale and I can't wait to tell it all to you today. Fun fact, I recorded these things yesterday, but I kept moving like this in the video, like, because YouTube makes me nervous. So I'm re-recording them with the hopes that I'm standing still enough. All right, let's start off with Cambodia. Let's hear a biblical story, Cambodian style, all right? Cool. One day there was a woman walking down the village, right? And she ain't never had no baby and she wanted a baby so bad. Her name is Devi. Okay, she was walking down the market and she spots this baddie with a baby in her arms. And that baddie is named Akara. Here's something funny. I looked up Cambodian names, right? Because this story didn't give the character's name, but I felt like they deserved names. I go in there, I see Debbie. I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't expect that, but cool. Debbie's a cool name. And then I see Akara. And don't say, Christina, why are you saying Akara like that? I'm telling you, just fucking wait. Anyway, I got you. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. How do you pronounce it like properly? How do Cambodians pronounce Akara? I'm trying to get the pronunciation of it, but they keep giving me the English pronunciation, which is Akara. And I didn't want to follow that colonizer, so I chose that colonizer instead. Okay, I'm sorry. If somebody could just tell me how to pronounce it properly, that'd be great. But today she's known as Akara. So Debbie sees Akara down the market and she's like, Hi there! That's a beautiful baby. Can I hold it? Pause. Let me tell you something. I have a nephew who's 3 years old. He's a beautiful baby boy, and he's the sweetest boy ever. He's a little mischievous too, but he's so sweet. And he's super fucking friendly. So that means he's running around to everybody, every single stranger, trying to hug them, trying to talk to them. And I hate that, bro. I believe in spiritual warfare as well as, physical harming a child. Obviously, that's real. Like, you gotta believe in that. And so I'm uncomfortable when I see him run to these strangers like, hello, 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 hello. So anyway, if I was a caja in that story, I would have been like, what the fuck up? What the fuck up? But anyway, that's not my story. That's her story. Let's continue. So Akaha, for some reason, gives Debbie her baby. And Debbie's like, oh, what a cute baby. I've never seen a baby so cute. Oh my God. Thank God it's mine. And Debbie starts to run away with the baby. This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God. So she starts to run away with the baby, and Akaha's like, oh my God, stop this woman. Sure. Oh my God, stop this woman. She has my baby. Please stop her, stop her. And as Debbie's running with the baby, the police officer in the market was like, hey, chill out, pause. And he stops both women and he's like, what's going on here? And Akaha's like, she has my baby. And Debbie's like, I don't have her baby. This is my child. And what's up with her accent? It don't even sound too right. And Akaha's like, that's my baby. And the police officer's like, you guys are going back and forth. I have an idea. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put this baby in the middle of the field, right? We're going to make sure that animals don't eat it, okay? Like, your baby's safe. And whichever one of you can run towards the baby faster and get to it faster, that's the mom. And Akaha's like, okay, yeah, that's the only way we all can figure out if this is my baby or not. Like there's no other way that we could figure out if this is my baby or not. Yeah, let's do it. So the police officer's like, okay, well, get down. And they get down. Police officer's like, all right, on your mark, get set, go. They both take off and they get to the baby at the same time. And so Debbie starts to pull on the boy, like, this is my baby. And Akaha starts to pull on the boy, this is my baby. And they start tugging on the boy so hard that he begins to cry. And Akaha looks at her son and he lets her go. Well, she lets him go. And when the police officer's like, stop right there. Why did you let that baby go? Akaha was like, well, that's my son. He's my flesh and blood. And I could never, ever hurt him like this. This is my child. This is my baby. And the police officer was like, I knew my plan was a great plan. Akaha is the mother of that baby. Give that child to her. And Debbie had no choice but to give the baby back. And Akaha skipped away learning absolutely nothing. Did you learn something? Dun, 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 dun. I'm hearing like, now we can like sing songs on YouTube because it might be copywritten. Like, it's like a lot, y'all. Like, it's a lot of rules. What the hell? Hi, my name is Christina, and welcome to our second story in Cambodia, the real one, the big one. And if you like to gossip and you like to talk bad about people, well, this story's for you. There's a real good lesson in it. Let's get her done. So once upon a time in a village in Cambodia was a stand-up guy named Reem. Now, Reem was that guy, right? He used to work with this millionaire, and we're going to call him Melvin. So Reem and Melvin were tight because Reem was like basically his assistant. If anybody wanted to see Melvin, Reem was the guy to go to, right? So they would knock on the door and they'll be like, hey, we're here to see Melvin. And Reem was like, what are you talking about? What time are you going to be here till? Did you bring gifts? Did you bring food? Did you have an appointment? Stuff like that. And so Melvin was really tight with Reem, and they got along very well. And one day Melvin goes to Reem and he says, hey, I love you straight as a friend, just so you know. I'm not interested in you like that. You're not my type, but I love you. And because I adore you so much and I trust you, I want to make you my personal spy. So not only are you my assistant, my bodyguard, but you're also my spy, right? So I believe some of my workers are talking smack behind my back, right? I don't know what they're saying exactly, but I need to know that they're working and they're happy in their working environment because I paid them a good amount of money to be there, right? And Rima's like, oh, yeah. I can do that for you. That's no problem. I can spy on your workers for you. That ain't no problem. And so Melvin was like, okay, good. I'll give you a raise too. And then they dapped it up and Reem went home. Now, Reem had a wife and we're going to call her Chi Chi. Why are you calling her Chi Chi? Because Chi Chi's a good name. I'm moving up and down again. Why are you gonna call her Chi Chi? Because Chi Chi's a cool name. Anyways, he had his wife named Chi Chi, and Chi Chi ain't really like him like that. Because Reem, although he was a stand-up guy, was not really attracted like that. So he goes home to Chi Chi, and he's like, babe, you wouldn't believe this. I got a promotion. And Chi Chi's like, oh my God, really? Like, what's going on? What happened? Are you gonna get more money? And he's like, yeah, I got promoted. I'm gonna get more money. There's something on my lip. I'm gonna get more money and we're gonna be happy. I am Melvin's spy. And Chi was like, spy? And he's like, yeah, I am Melvin's spy. I'm gonna do everything for Melvin. I'm gonna go sneak around and talk to the workers and see, like, you know, if I could get information to bring back to Melvin, because I'm his, you know, I'm his top dog. I'm his spy. And he kissed Chi on the forehead and he goes to sleep. And Chi doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. So Chi was like, that's very good news. I know exactly who would like to hear that. Brenda. So she, Brenda girl. And Brenda was like, what's up, girl? And Chi was like, my man got a promotion. And Brenda was like, okay, good for you. You trying to rub it in? You know I'm broke. And Chi was like, no, girl. He's working as Melvin's spy. And Brenda was like, what? And Chi and Brenda kept talking. And then they hung up. And Brenda was like, I know exactly who need to hear this. Hello, is this Emily? Yeah, girl, what's up? Girl, you would not believe what happened to Chi-Chi's husband, you know? And then Emily was like, what? Guess who needs to hear about this? And then that person was like, what? My husband work at that factory. Like, why would they send that guy to spy on him and then bring it back to Melvin? And then, you know, everybody knew. By the entire night, everybody knew. So obviously the workers knew this, and one of the workers go to Melvin. At the time, Reem wasn't there, so Melvin opens the door, and the worker's like, why are you sending Reem to spy on us? And Melvin was like, what the hell? Why would he tell everybody? That was our little secret, dude. This is my space. This is my area. You can't do that here. Melvin was obviously upset, and Melvin was like, okay, that's dead. He goes to Reem, and he says, you know what? You can't keep a secret. You can't keep your mouth shut. I can't trust you. You're fired. That's tough. Anyway, Reem is sad. He goes home. He's like, oh my God, baby, they fired me. I don't got no money. And Chi was like, I been knew this was happening. So just to let you know, I've been sleeping with your brother. I'm marrying him. Goodbye. Yeah, that did happen. So Chi takes off with Melvin. Well, not Melvin, with Reem's brother. And she's gone. And like Reem lost everything. You know, he ain't had no house. He don't got no friends. He don't got no beach. He don't got nothing. And so he's homeless. And then when Melvin hears about Reem being homeless, he's like, damn, me and Reem been through it though. That's my dog. Like, we've been through a lot of stuff together. I cannot do this to my guy. So he calls Reem and he's like, you know what? You're hired, just not as my spy. You're just back to your assistant, but I'll pay you a little more. And Reem gets his life together, right? Cool. Now, one day, these three fine Cambodian assassin merchants come to visit Melvin. They knock on the door. Reem's like, what's good? They like, hey, we have business with Melvin. We gotta sell him something. You could check us. We don't got no weapons, no nothing. Reem's like, okay, cool, come through. He takes him to Melvin. Melvin's sitting down in his office. What's up? What you got for me, guys? And Reem isn't behind the door. He kind of knows us, so he's like, you can't see my ear. There it is. Okay, good. So he's listening, right? Good. So the merchants are like, hey, we stole this jewel from the king's treasury chief, right? He stole it from the king, gave it to us. Now we're selling it to you, but don't worry, we broke it, made it into a beautiful masterpiece that the king wouldn't even recognize this jewel. Melvin was like, oh, let me see. Melvin looks at the jewel, it looks beautiful, and it looks absolutely separate and different from the previous jewel that it was. Like, I don't know, they did some stuff to it. I don't know. I don't work with jewels. What do you want me to say? I don't know what they did. The story didn't tell me anything. I'm trying my best here, Rebecca. Anyway, so Melvin's like, okay, that's dope. I'm buying it. So he pays the merchant. The merchant's like, cool, great doing business with you. Coachella's next door. We're gonna go party. And Melvin's like, oh, you know, enjoy yourself. I'm not going because I don't want to. But you go and you enjoy yourself. And the guys and the merchants leave. And of course, Reem heard all of that. And Reem already had asked for the day off. So Reem was like, okay, well, half of the day off. So Reem was like, okay, well, I'm taking off. And Melvin's like, okay, safe trip. Enjoy your night. Reem takes off, picks up his friend, and they go to Coachella. And I say Coachella because I don't know any Cambodian themed or named carnivals, but like also it's just like a humor. Why am I explaining this? It's not that deep. Anyway, so they go to Coachella and they're having fun, dancing, yada yada yada. And as Reem is dancing with his friend, he noticed that the merchant's over there, and he's like, "Bro, you would not believe this." And the guy's like, "What?" And Reem tells the guy everything, but also Reem is not quiet. And that's probably an immigrant thing, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not saying Cambodians are loud, I'm saying immigrants, period, are loud. Like, the way immigrants be talking on their phones in like public spaces, it's like, damn. And it's coming from me. I'm an immigrant. My aunt be loud as hell. But anyway, he was talking so loud that the merchants heard him. And the merchants was like, well, we can't have this man living, knowing our secret. So they waited till Reem and the friend got out of the crowd and went to eat. And they followed Reem and took him to the afterlife. Him and his friend. Um, yeah. What did we learn? What did we learn? Right? First things first, if your wife or girlfriend's name is Chi Chi, don't tell her nothing. Second thing second, men don't gossip as good as women do, okay? Men don't gossip properly. How you gonna be gossiping about the person and the person's right there and you're not low enough to save yourself? Like, you're talking too loud. You're gonna get caught. Not me though. Not me. Did you enjoy our Cambodian stories? Good. Are you ready for our next one? Great. All right. Okay, our next story, we're going to Tonga. And let me just explain. The reason why I pause every time I say it is because we have a Haitian word named tanga, but tanga is like a G-string underwear. And so, like, I feel like that's disrespectful if I come, like, if I mess the two up. So I have to pause each time and be like, Tonga, because it's not Tonga in Creole, it's Tonga, the name of a country. All right, let's listen to our folktales. So deep in the island of Tonga, back in the days, there was a chief so important, a chief so relevant that everybody knew his name, and his name was Tutaki. You have no idea how long it took me to say this properly. And it's not because it was hard to pronounce, it's because I had the problem with saying Tutaki. I kept saying Tutaki or Tutaki. Like, I just kept saying different stuff, but it's Tutaki. Got it. Great. So this soldier was so popular, everybody knew his name. Everybody in the Pacific knew his name. He was a great chief, an honorable man. All right. So he lived on a cliff on Tonga and he just minded his business. He was a happy man. He was good to the people. However, he was married to a woman that did not like him. Why? I don't really know. But here's my assumption. So let's pause the story. This is my own assumption of what's happening. So when I was looking up the folktale, he seems to have a lot of folktales about him, right? So he's not just one character, one and done. It seems like there's a history of him. And because he's a great warrior and chief, they call him a Tongan warrior and a Tongan chief. I'm assuming he's born in Tonga. However, I'm assuming his wife is not, okay? Because in the folktale that I'm telling you guys, it kind of portrays the wife as if she's revengeful towards him for the death of her family, for the death of her kin. So I'm assuming that he had something to do with the death of her family, whether he was directly or indirectly responsible for their deaths. That's why she doesn't like him, okay? That's my own assumption. It doesn't tell you necessarily why. I'll look into it. I'll definitely try to find more information about him because that's so cool. I've never heard of Tuutaki, but he sounds like a great, like, I get like kind of hyper fixated on these characters, especially characters with more than just one story, like somebody that like somebody with a lore, and he has lore and I want to know more about him. I'm not even sure if he's like real. I don't know if he's real or if he's just folktale, and I would love to know more. And when I know more, you will know more. But let's keep going. So his wife did not like him, and because of that, we're gonna call her Trifling. All right. So Queen Trifling was not a good woman to him. So one day, Queen Trifling wrote a letter to the warriors of Fiji, and she basically told them in the letter, "Let's get together to kill my husband." The warriors in Fiji were feeling some kind of way because They were just feeling some kind of way. They were not as popular as Tuutaki. So they were like, that's no problem. We're going to come over there and we're going to kill him. And so that was the plan. But one day, the wife just couldn't handle it anymore. The wife was just so upset. The wife could not wait for the 3 days that the trip was going to take for the men of Fiji to come and kill Tuutaki. She just could not wait. So while Tuutaki sat above the cliff and he was just kind of relaxing, feeling the breeze on his back and his chest, he asked his wife for a coconut. He said, "Hey babe, can you go get me a coconut? I would like some coconut water." She says, "No problem." She goes and she gets a coconut. Pow! That's me breaking the coconut. Pow! Oh, that was jiggly. Anyway, so she gets the coconut, she breaks it in half, but she pours most of the water out, so he would have to lean back very far to taste what's in there. So she brings him the coconut and he leans back very, very far. And again, he's at the edge of the cliff sitting down for a breeze. So he leans, towards the edge and he starts to slip and fall. But here's the thing, that karma came fast. That karma Trifling did not have a second to think about what she had done. Because as soon as he started to fall, he grabbed her arm and they fell together to their demise. However, Tuutaki fell on a stick and got impaled standing upright, right? So right above the cliff, right in front of the cliff, I need you to see this. This is why I'm making all the movements. So right in front of the cliff, he's there impaled, kind of like he's floating on the rocks, right? So in the mist, this is sad. Obviously, he's gone, but this is kind of funny. Just stay with me. So in the mist, the warriors of Fiji are pulling up on Tonga and they see this sight. Mind you, Tuutaki ain't no ordinary mans, okay? First of all, my man's a Pacific Islander. Have you seen Pacific Islander men? Have you? Homie, I'm 5'3". I don't have nothing on these men, okay? That's one. Two, he is impaled, but he looks like he's floating in front of the rocks, right? So he's like a floating Pacific Islander chief warrior known by the world, basically, in front of you. So that's what the Fiji men saw when they came, and they were like, "Stop right there, criminal scout." I think I like this little life. And they were like, "We're going home. We're not messing with that, okay? Because first of all, we have 32 men to take this one guy down, and nobody told us he was a god, okay? He's floating in front of the rocks. So we're going home, all right? We like our lives." And they went home. The end. Oh, Christina, why don't the stories never have any morale? Bitch, I don't know. I didn't write them. The fuck? My apologies, it won't happen again. So back in the days in Luxembourg, right, there was a white knight, and I mean white knight. He was a white man, but also a knight. Okay, this is important because he's European. We're gonna give him the right aesthetics, right? Because he's European. Okay, good. So he was a white knight, and he was riding on his horse near some ruins of a Roman castle, and he was just doing good for himself. We're gonna call him. Oh damn. I need a white name. Nathaniel. I don't think that was white. Alright, so Nathaniel was on his horse riding around the ruins of a Roman castle, and then he heard a beautiful singing. Anyway, he was like, "What is that sound? That is a beautiful sound. I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to stop keeping guard of the area like my boss told me to, just so I could see what that sound is." So that's what he did. He followed the sound, and it led him to a river. And in the river was a long-legged babe. Every day I cry because I'm 5'3", because I know that if I was 5'9", oh my God, you niggas would have nothing on me. Anyway, a long-legged babe, fair skin, long golden hair, washing her hair, right? And she was singing in the water. And he was like, "What a beautiful woman. Like, I'm smitten. Let me stalk her." So that's what he did. He stayed in the corner watching her, right? But she is a woman with smarts and intellect and six senses. So she felt that he was looking at her, and she turned around. She caught a glimpse of him, and she was like, "Okay, he's doable. He's cute. So she let him watch her. And so he would come by the river every single day and night just to see this babe wash her hair and do what women do, which is look good. We do more nowadays, but back then, I'm not saying that we ain't do nothing. I'm just saying in this story, women ain't do nothing. Oh my goodness, that came out so wrong. So anyway, she was doing what women do, which involved looking good. Anyway, so one day he was walking at the market, right? He was about to buy himself some, I don't know, beans on toast. It's a European story. I don't really know what they eat like that. They food don't look too good. I'm not gonna cap. But anyway, so he's walking. European has so many countries, Christina. You can't say stuff like that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's on me. Okay. All right. Let's assume they were from London, so I can say stuff like that. You're right. Okay. They're from London. Okay. They're from more modern day London. Okay. Anyway, so he was walking in the market, and then he noticed a long-legged babe, and he goes up to her and he's like, "It's you," and she's like, "Yes, it is me," and he's like, "You're so beautiful. Marry me." And you can't even get a text back. And you're in your no contact stage. And you're still in a situationship that you've started since 2022. Anyway, not me though, I'm standing on business. Anyway, she was like, "Oh my God, yes, under one condition. On Saturdays, you don't look for me at all. Don't seek my attention. Don't look for me at all. Leave me to myself. Don't bother me." He says, "No problem. I can do that." And so she married him. And over the years, they fell in love. They were great together. And she gave them 7 babies. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, bam. 7 babies. Okay, that's loves. At least that's back in the day, Caucasian love. Anyway, so they were really happy together, right? They were really fantastic. And, by this point, the night was no longer a night. He had retired. He was just vibing, living his life. And one day he goes to the pub with his friends, and his hater ass friends is like, "Yo, where your wife at?" And he's like, God, the entire time I forgot to say her name. Her name is Melusina. I've been talking for 2 minutes straight. Nothing was recording. Anyway, the hater's at the pub, and the hater's sitting next to Nathaniel. He's like, "Hey, where your wife at?" And he's like, "It's a Saturday. I don't get to see my wife on Saturdays." And the hater was like, "What?" And Nathaniel was like, "Yeah, we just never see each other on Saturdays. She on Saturdays all to herself. The kids don't see her. I don't see her, and I'm okay with that." And some of you people don't have faith in your relationship, okay? Some of you people just keep waiting on your hater as friends to make decisions for you. And this is why you need to learn how to make decisions for yourself. Your relationship is your relationship, okay? You understand what works for you, just like your partner understand what works for them. If you guys are not engaging in very bad behavior, cheating, the argument, the domestic violence, stuff like that, if you are happy with your relationship, then you are happy with your relationship. Don't let people get into your relationship. Now, personally for me, I can tell you right now, my husband tell me I don't get to see him on Saturdays. He's not my husband. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I say it here. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. But if you've been with that woman for plus 7 years, she gave you 7 children, and she tell you you can see her Saturday, you've been doing that. Now it's a problem? Now? Anyway, that man let his hater ass friends, convince him to go see what she's doing, right? So Nathaniel gets home and he's like, "What's going on, man? I need to know what she's doing." And it's still Saturday, and she's in the bathroom, right? You can hear her singing. Da, 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 da. And so what he does is he peeks his head in. Why did I do it this way? You can't see what I'm doing. He peeks inside the lock thingy, and he sees her beautiful back, right? Beautiful hair, beautiful back, arms swinging and doing all types of shit. But her body ends with a tail, a thick, slimy tail. And as soon as he saw that, he gasped. She quickly turned around to look at him, and she sinks into the ground. Eh bien. En tout cas. Anyway, she sinks into the ground and he never sees her again. That's literally how Nathaniel and Melusina, and mind you, when you look up the Melusina story, his name is not Nathaniel. It's genuinely something I cannot pronounce for the life of me. And I don't like disrespecting names, bro. So I call them something different. But anyways, he never sees her again. That's literally how his story ends with her. Now, years later, I'm talking 20, 30 years later, people are still talking about Melusina, because what happens is that every seventh year from what happened to her, she comes out of the earth as a wispy spirit, and she tries to get people to follow her, to listen to her, but people are often afraid because she's a ghost and I'm moving too much. Because she's a ghost, right? So every seventh year she comes around and she wee, wee, like a banshee without the screechy, peachy, witchy pitch thingy. So one year there's a soldier working, and I kind of like the name Marco. Marco's giving like sweet but stern. So a soldier named Marco's working the fields, right? By then, life's different. Life is very different. And one night he's working and he sees this kind of woman in like a little dress, like just singing solemnly to herself. "Ah." And he approaches the woman. He says, "Hey, can I help you?" And the woman turns around, and of course it's Melusina. And she says to him, "Hi, my name is Melusina. Will you be willing to help me?" And Marco's like, "Yeah, I can help you. If like you have a problem, I'd love to help you what you're dealing with." And oh my God, I saw a TikTok that says Americans sway back and forth, and that's really what I do. Oh my God, I failed my Haitian ancestors. Anyway, stiff. Anyway, so Marco's like, "Yeah, I'd be willing to help you if, like, fuck, this is so uncomfortable. If you need help." And Melusina's like, "Yes, I need help. Let me tell you my story." So Melusina ends up telling Marco her story. I can't do this. Marco her story. And after the story, Melusina's like, "I'll tell you how to help me. Before you accept, you must know that you can do everything right, because if you fail, I will be buried deeper in the ground, and also for 13 years. And Marco's like, "Tell me how to help you. I want to help you, Melusina." Melusina says this: "There is a Dominican church down there." I was surprised. In the middle of Europe, I did not expect a Dominican church. Like, I'm not saying ain't no Dominicans in Europe. I'm just saying I did not expect a Dominican church, because the way the story has it told, it feels like they're talking about architecture and culture more so than like, hey, this church is like Dominican filled. Like, there's a bunch of Dominicans in that church. Okay. So, anyway, so she's like, "There's a Dominican church over there. For 9 nights straight, you need to go to the altar exactly at midnight and say my name, and I will appear to you as Melusina every night. However, on the 10th night, when you go over there and say my name, I will appear to you as a giant snake with a golden key in its mouth. I will open my mouth, grab this key quickly, and then run to the river and throw it in there in under 20 minutes. And Marco's like, "I can do that. I'm based here anyway, so I can do that." And Melusina's like, "Okay, great. Let's do it." Fantastic. So for the first 8 night, Marco shows up and he does what he's supposed to, right? He's great. He's a helper. He's good. He was a good man, Savannah. But on the ninth night, however, Marco shows up 1 minute too late. And as he's walking inside the church, he sees Melusina, looks at him with tears in her eyes and like fearful eyes. And he knows it's too late. And she gets sucked into the earth again, never to be seen. So 13 years passes by and Melusina resurfaces, but nobody's willing to help her. So she just wanders the grounds as a spirit begging for help, right? She cries, she weeps, but every time people see her, they are afraid and they cannot help her anymore. So that is the tragic story of Melusina. And I'm going to tell you what, Melusina's story is more tragic than the original Ariel. And if you don't remember the original Ariel story, she turns into a pillar of salt. Okay, pause, because I don't know what I was thinking. She doesn't turn into a pillar of salt. Duh, that's a biblical story. She turns into sea foam. But my point still stands. I just don't know why I said that. At least she's dead, okay? In some circumstance, death is a blessing, okay? Like, she's in the ground. I'm claustrophobic, man. She's in the ground 13 years. And then every time she comes up, it's for one night, and she cries and she runs after people. Imagine like you're a ghost running after people for help and they're scared of you. My brother, you're never getting out of your position. You better pray to God. Can you even pray to God when you're dead? See? Questions for another time. But anyway, thank you for coming here and sitting down and standing up and doing your chores or not doing your chores. Thank you for spending this time with me and allowing me in your space and in your presence to share these 3.5, because remember, 4 stories from all over the world. Again, why do I tell stories, Christina? Well, one, I love stories. I was a child of stories, right? Every night in Haiti, I sat down and the women of my neighborhood told me stories. Not every night, but most nights, right? And I love that. It's a nice way to connect. But not only that, a bigger thing that I look at when I'm telling these stories is oral culture. Oral culture is very big for Haitians, right? I'm Haitian, if you didn't know. And oral culture is often very neglected when we're talking about these kind of third world countries or these places that people don't think have much more than just misery and suffering, quotation marks on that. And it's just when you learn about oral culture in these places, it connects. And these stories connect us all, right? Like I told you, the first Cambodian story resembles that of a biblical story that a lot of people probably know. And the rest of these 3 stories, they're just really fun to know. Now you know a little more about Luxembourg and their culture, or maybe Tonga and their culture as well. Yeah, make your own research. Plenty of stories to hear.